Part of me wanted to do a weapon guide on my favorite shotgun, and the other part wanted me to cover a special weapon. Well, I don't exactly have said favorite shotgun at level 100 yet, as I literally just got it from the daily reward microtransactions in Continuum. And with that, I'm covering a special weapon instead. Welcome back to Weapon Guides. Today, I'll be covering the first special weapon in this series, as well as the first shotgun to be reviewed in Weapon Guides, Elphelt Valentine. Or as I like to affectionately call her, Wedding Freak. Elphelt is a special rank weapon from a crossover event named Rabbit Hunt, which took place between Operation Cube and Arctic Warfare. I don't think we'll be getting that back anytime soon. Elphelt carries a shotgun around named Miss Trevilier. She also has a pistol and a sniper, but they only really emphasize on the shotgun. Oh, and she also apparently has an RPG, but more on that later. Story-wise, Elphelt came from the Guilty Gear universe. My memory of Rabbit Hunt is pretty blurry, but I'm gonna do my best to give you the shorthand. She somehow got to this dimension, got captured by SF, was used to produce SF copies, those then died, the real one was rescued by FN Squad and Noelle, and then her and Noelle go back to their own separate dimensions. I think that was the general gist of it. Elphelt was only attainable from the Rabbit Hunt event as a clear reward from the mission Operation Rabbit Hunt. Although to actually complete it, you had to do the mission 5 times, I think. Again, my memory of Rabbit Hunt is pretty blurry, and since Micah won't perma-add it to the campaign, I'm left here to only speculate. If anybody can correct me, that'd be very much appreciated. Being a special rank weapon, it'll cost 105 dummy cores for all 4 dummy lanes. I wish I could say that you can reduce the cost like any other weapon, but you can only attain 1, which makes cost reduction impossible. And yes, special weapons share the same dummy core cost as 5-star weapons. I never really took account of special weapons when making these weapon guides, but since I'm reviewing a special weapon now, I have to show off the stat comparisons differently than I'm used to doing, and I may start using it permanently. Damage is not a strong point for shotguns, especially in an LMG team, but I'm happy to report that Elphelt has the 4th highest damage. I'm just gonna say this now, Elphelt has some of the most amazing versatility out of all shotguns. About their stat A. What I'm not happy to report is that Elphelt has the lowest evasion out of any weapon, sharing it with Spaz 12. With 9 evasion compared to Super Shorty's 19 or KSG's 19.6 when her skill is active, she's practically guaranteed to get hit by even low accuracy enemies, like Destroyer. Yes, I see you in the comments and I know you can put down the keyboard. There is a silver lining though. Again, shared with Spaz 12 and also 3 other shotguns, the health stat is the 2nd highest of 1375. Beat by stat 8's 1410. Like SMGs, there's a small accuracy range for shotguns, but instead of 11 to 15, now 16 thanks to CS4 Storm, it's 9 to 15 for shotguns. Elphelt's accuracy is 13 alongside 4 other shotguns. As I said earlier, damage isn't a strong point for shotguns, so moving on. Fire rate is under the 30.5 median value at 28. I'm not really gonna dwell on this any further, so let's just move on to armor value. Alongside its low evasion and high health value, Elphelt has the 2nd highest base armor value at 23 alongside Remington 870 and Stagger 12. The only other shotgun with this much versatility, at least to my knowledge, is Stat 8. Although you probably already knew that. Elphelt's skill looks very promising. That is until you find out when it actually activates. Unless you're fighting Judge or anyone/anything that takes a ludicrously long time, you almost never see Elphelt's skill activate. And even when it does, the battle is pretty much ended by then and all that you have really seen is the beginning part of the skill activate. In terms of what it actually does, what happens is Elphelt shots the current target with basically static electricity from an M1 Garen lookalike with an 8 times damage value. Then, she'll whip out an RPG and contribute to the explosive span in Operation Locker. The times where I've actually seen it, honestly, even CZ out of 5 does better. Then again, that could be just because almost every time I've been able to use it, the enemy is still somehow standing after the blast, but not before another LMG volley is on the way. Weapon balance is broken, I understand. Tile buffs are actually pretty solid. Not perfect, but still very solid. A buff on damage and accuracy is about what's best to buff LMGs with, at least in the case for night battles in terms of accuracy. As a secondary buff for the LMGs that are perked in the rear, you could probably get away with also using that and also M1897 the Gaunt, although not really recommended because of the placement, for the fact that their tile buffs give damage and critical rate. I really don't want to keep comparing it to Sat 8, but compared to Sat 8's tile buffs, it's about on par with a trade-off between damage buff and coverage. I'll talk more about this when I eventually get to Sat 8's weapon guide, but for right now, all I really need to know is Elphelt gives good buffs. Equipment choices are kinda plentiful as you can adjust for what you're fighting, but personally, I'd say Red Dot and Slugs. If you prefer Buckshot, then go right ahead. I nor anyone else watching this weapon guide will judge you on that. And, you know, there are different benefits between both ammo types after all. Just kind of a shame that shotguns don't really do as much damage as I wish they did. I use slugs because that weapon looks like it was designed for slugs. So overall, Elphelt is a very versatile shotgun, but it's not exactly perfect. The skill takes way too long to the point that it might as well not even exist, and evasion is poor. Although its health count is a trade-off to its terrible evasion stat. Tile buffs are great, debatable if Sat 8 is better, but I'm not here to judge. And she's honestly heartwarmingly cute, even with the constant begging for you to marry her, which is god-awfully annoying. What else can I say about this? Honestly, I don't think I can, so that's all for this segment of weapon guides. If you watched the entire video to this point, then don't do anything. Just click on another video and move on with your day. Till the next time when we remaster another weapon guide.
Google boys, alchemical is always nice, but danger closest. Ho 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 ho! Danger closest is the only gobble gum you really ever need.